AI won't replace your best sales rep, but it will absolutely replace the parts of your sales process that your rep should have never been doing in the first place. The highest value thing a sales rep does is build trust, read the room, and close. What they should not be doing is spending hours answering the same pre-sale questions, chasing down product information, educating cold leads who aren't ready to buy, or following up manually on every inquiry that comes in. An AI trained on your business handles all of that, qualifying leads, answering objections, explaining your offer, and warming up prospects before your rep ever gets on a call. By the time a human enters the conversation, the lead is already educated, already aligned, and already halfway sold. Your rep doesn't get replaced, they get upgraded. Every lead that comes in before your AI infrastructure is in place is a lead your rep is manually educating from zero. That's expensive, inconsistent, and truly unscalable. The business layers AI into their sales processes will now move faster, convert higher, and do it with a leaner team. The ones that still rely entirely on human bandwidth to carry every prospect through the journey will keep hitting the same ceiling, because you can only hire so many reps before the economics stop making sense. I think many organizations at this point are truly trying to integrate AI in a way that supports their sales rep. And the answer, again, is not that AI will replace them. It will allow that same team or that same number of sales reps to close better, which in the end, who's to say, right, what will happen? But as long as there are results, you're gonna wanna compound those results. I almost feel like with all my experience, one of the best uses of AI in the global marketplace is in sales. And the reason why is because there's so much that AI can do the heavy lifting on the front end, really engaging a new lead, a new customer. And we're talking about everything from being able to manage the chat conversations, also making really incredible human-like voice calls. Some services are better than others, but some of them are really incredible. And depending on the demographic in terms of who that target ICP is, they may never even know that they were talking to AI. Some demographics and some products are probably better left to humans, at least at this point, until we bridge the gap of being able to distinguish between AI versus human. But the point in saying this is that almost every step of that initial process from a sales perspective can utilize some component of AI, just really educate that customer before they even get on a sales call. And then, of course, after a sales call is had, the human sales rep gives their best shot. Depends on the product, depends on the service, but a lot of times that's still not the end of the journey for that customer in terms of that closing that sale. So the next part of that would be the follow-up. And again, AI would be, whether you're using AI to have conversation as they're going back and forth, you hopefully are already using AI to write your email sequences. And then, there's just any follow-ups, anything that's happening there until, again, you get back on that call. So I think the safe answer to say here is that AI at this point is really going to make teams stronger. Another aspect of this is onboarding a sales rep. And so the information that's required in order to make that sales rep more educated, ramp them up faster. There are incredible tools that we've built that I've actually also seen on the market that really support that education process, totally collapsing the timeline that it takes for a sales rep to onboard, understand the product or service, and be able to intelligently discuss with the client what that product or service might be about. Really an incredible opportunity from a sales perspective. Another thing that I've seen is once a proprietary LLM is trained, once a model has been trained on your framework, it'll have to be adjusted. It might not be the exact same, this will be considered another agent. There will be a core set of information that this sales training agent will be trained on, but the way that it analyzes that information and spits it out or uses it here and there is going to be different from the way that, let's just say, an accounting agent would use the same core information. What that means is there are components or pieces of this model, right, for the agent that would be focusing on sales and training. We might want to feed it a lot more information around who our ICPs are. We'll want to know what our offers are, what the pricing is. All this information will go in and help us to actually, again, this serves as the infrastructure, but it'll go in and help us draft, whether it's email copy or just responses for, from an AI response in conversation. It'll have all of this context that it can have these natural language conversations and be able to answer within seconds, as we all know. I think we've seen that in terms of AI's ability and the difference between, let's just say, a generic tool that might be provided with a service that already exists versus another tool that you build as infrastructure. A company like ours would help you is that those conversations they'll have memory, they'll have storage, they'll have knowledge of that conversation that had taken place before. That's kind of a good distinction to make in terms of what you're getting when you invest in the infrastructure side of things versus when you're just kind of using a subscription service. You're really focusing on the customer journey. You're getting a lot of knowledge and education and memory from previous conversations that help to make sure that the way that the AI responds is based on that specific customer. It's not just generic. It's not just pulling from a repository and having conversation based on just like this one SOP or this one document. It's actually able to recall conversations from days, weeks back, or whatever context window you give it, or history window rather. So there are some very important nuances that you can get into when you move away from generic AI tools and build out your own infrastructure and be able to layer on top of that really impactful and dynamic features that support and improve the customer journey. And then of course, with the better customer journey comes better results overall, better lead conversion, and better sales, better revenue.